Prediction time, Scarlet and Violet era. A little bit different today. We're gonna have a little fun, do a little bit different spin on things, talk about the market somewhat, but focus on Scarlet and Violet. I'm either gonna look like a genius or an idiot. Let's find out. All right, let's flip it on over. Scarlet and Violet. As we look here, my Charizard is sitting in the background for good luck. My Celebrations V Charizard, Lance's Charizard box. Anyways, we're going to go. I'm going to set a couple parameters here. I'm just going to focus on the staples, which is a regular booster box for mainline sets and regular ETBs for specialty subsets. So, with that in mind, let's keep it short and simple with Scarlet and Violet SV01. It has a special uh, place in my heart because it is the beginning of Silver Borders. Nobody liked this at first. If you're new to the hobby, drop a comment below. Let me know how long you've been collecting and investing. I'd like to hear it because chances are, if you're watching, you're probably new to the hobby because most people are new. So, Booster Box, the top tier item for this era, for this set. It's all we're going to focus on. Most recent sales around 300. I'm just going to give a quick prediction on each item and we'll roll right through every set. Um, Keep it simple here. So, and I did a little bit of research, a little bit of thought, but for the most part, I wanted to sort of do this off the cuff because I didn't want to think about it too much because I kind of want it to be, let's see how good my instincts are. Maybe they're crappy. We'll find out in about 6 months. Hopefully I will remember to come back to this video. Hopefully you will too if you're watching. Come back around December, Christmas time, and let's see how well or bad the predictions are. I've been pretty good so far identifying trends and markets and things that tend to rise. So Scarlet and Violet base. I've got a couple of these boxes. Now, of course, I've been in the hobby a while. I got them on Black Friday deals years ago for like 80 bucks a box. So, don't have many. I've got like two, but so small time investor, small time, that's what I am. Don't have big pockets like a lot of these YouTubers, so hopefully if you're watching out there, you can identify with that and just know that your journey is, if it's just beginning, don't feel small, don't feel intimidated like, oh, everyone else has more boxes than me and more sealed investments. You gotta start somewhere, just like I did, one box at a time. So, baby steps. So, over the last 6 months, it has gone from low 220s on up to 300. So, it's had some recent sales. My quick prediction for this is it doesn't have a lot of love or favor. Still doesn't to this day. I mean, this market, y'all gotta understand that this isn't normal for the most part. It's been normal for the last year and a half to almost 2 years, um, but for the most part, slow, steady gains is what you see. Usually better than the S&P average. That has a track record of doing that, but the track record of spiking 100, 200% in 3 months, that's just insane, and that is not the norm for the most part. But since it's been happening for the last year and a half, it feels like the norm. It just feels crazy because it is crazy. My prediction for this box, there's not uh, there's not very many high profile cards here. You got Gardevoir, your best one, still hasn't cracked $100. My prediction is it will be $350 by the end of this year. All right, moving on. We all know Paldea Evolved is a great set. Is it lacking a little bit in the SIR category? Sure, but what it lacks there, it more than makes up with an amazing Magikarp card, very hard to grade in PSA 10 to get a PSA 10. The Sleepy Raichu, the Tyranitar, the Mousehold is making moves. Holy crap. I did not know the Mousehold is already almost $100. It's just insane. The Fuecoco is a $50 card. I remember pulling that out of a sleeve booster pack uh, when you could get them for $4 a piece. But booster box, it's near $500. My prediction for this It will steadily go up, and I believe by the end of the year, it's going to be a $600 box. Just the trends, the vibe that I get, it is fairly popular. No, it doesn't have that awesome SIR chase, but 600 is where I'm putting this at the end of the year. Moving on, another Charizard set. Are we getting tired of Charizard or not? I love Charizard personally, but it does tend to get old when they just continue to put him in sets over and over and over. Give it a break a little bit sometimes is how I feel, but the SIR Zard, I've got one. It's an awesome card in person. It's the only card right now above $100. I mean, if you'd watched one of my previous prediction videos, I had this on here as a sleeper pickup back when it was $15 to $20. Look at it now. I was right. It is $40 plus most recent sale. Aside from that, what is the booster box doing? Mainline set. I think the Charmander promo in the ETB is something you're going to want to keep long term. For some reason, people view that as just gold, and I remember when these ETBs were so cheap back in the day. And same with the booster box. But now, 6-month chart, it's covered from low to not high, under 300 on up to 370, and there's not a whole lot in the set. Honestly, my prediction for this is it will slowly go up the rest of the year. I say slow, it's fast for a normal market, slow for this market. $450. Right now it's sitting at 370. 450 is my prediction for the end of the year on this one. All right, next we have the first subset of the era, the one, the only 151. We're going to focus, like I said, on just the regular ETB. You got to keep in mind this is a bit unique because most ETBs get several iterations of reprints and restocks. It seems like, and I was around back then, a few years ago when this first came out, it was fairly popular. It was fairly hard to find, but you still could find it for MSRP for the most part, $50 in ETB. They didn't do, it seems like, any reprints of the ETB. Now, they put tons of other product out there. Sam's drops, Costco drops, Mini 10 reprints, bundles galore, the Zapdos, the Alakazam boxes, the big Blooming Waters boxes, tons of those. But the ETB was hard to find. So it always held a lot of value even when the pack prices were low, when other items were low. So it's a bit unique in that sense, but seeing what work it's done now, being at under $300 at the beginning of the year, and now it's over $600 for just a normal ETB. It's so insane. This is one I wouldn't bet against because it's 151, the nostalgia factor. I think this is going to be an I'm going to call it $825 box by the end of the year. That's a pretty big spike because right now it's sitting at around 640-ish, 650. So 825, that's my prediction. Moving on, Paradox Rift. Not a super popular set. These booster boxes did seem like they got reprinted and they were just sitting. Distributors could not get rid of them. Look at it now. You could get this box all day back then for 90 to 100 bucks. Just normal sale. Not even a Black Friday deal. Low 200s beginning of the year. It's done fairly well. 280. I know this is caveat is this crazy market, right? This would be great for a normal market. We ain't in a normal market. We're in a crazy one. That, frankly, even the best, most informed people still get it wrong, still can't predict how unpredictable and crazy this is. But sitting at around 280, nearly 280 right now. I'm not super hyped on Paradox. It does have some nice SIRs. None of them are super value. The best card is the Groudon, which is an IR. It only won over 100 bucks. Only won over 100 bucks. So if the booster box right now is around 280, I'm honestly kind of low on this box. I would be picking up other items if it was me. I'm going to say end of the year, this is around 340. So that's my prediction there. We'll see. Paldean Fates, another one that has just insanely popped off. Guys, these were at Target. Regular $50, $55, because Target's a little more. These were at Target every week, it seems like, for $39.99 on sale. You find a flash deal at an LGS online. You could even get them a little bit cheaper than 40. But all day long at a big box retailer, 40 bucks. Look at them now. I cannot believe it. Sitting at 200, the 6-month chart, sorry. It was about 250 at the beginning of the year. So, like, this is what I mean, y'all. We'll call it 275. It's more than doubled in 4.5 months. 2x in about 4 months. Insane. And maybe you could argue that this last steep hill right here, this incline, is maybe a bit of a buyout. But wow, $550. I think this has potential to be a $700 ETB by the end of the year. I believe in it. It's a strong set. I've opened some Paldean Fates. Great pull rates. A lot of good pulls. You got to remember, people are going to want to chase that Bubble Mew, right? It has its own moniker, its own nickname. When a card has its own nickname, it's going to do awesome things. Bubble Mew's approaching $1,000 right now. Here it is. The Charizard backing it up. The Gardevoir. Huge top 3 trio there. So, yeah. At a $550-ish ETB right now, I think it could be $800 by the end of the year. I'm pretty sure that's what I said earlier, but quote me on that. That's my number. I'm sticking to it. $800 by the end of the year. Next set, Temporal Forces. This is one I'm actually kind of high on. It features Gengar. It's got one of the best Ghastly cards in my opinion. Over $100 now. Used to be like $60 a few months ago. It's got a full art Gengar. It's got an SIR of Morty, but it's Gengar on it. The booster box is $310. Unlike Paradox Rift that came just before it, Temporal did not see, to my knowledge, any reprint of the booster box. We saw ETBs sitting on the shelves back then. Booster boxes were seemingly scarce even back then. You could find them, but they just weren't plentiful like the other sets. So I believe it's a short printed item, the booster box. We're sitting here at $250. Now it's up to $300. I think this could be a 25% gain, $100. I think this might be a $400 booster box by the end of the year. Next, we have sort of the precursor to the big boom of kicking it off. Yeah, you could argue Surging Sparks really did that, but once we got this Twilight Masquerade and that Chase Greninja, a fan favorite, a Pokemon species that Ash had, he did a ton of battles with in the anime, fairly popular, resonated with the older generation, the Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3 folks. It's got an awesome Eevee. The Greninja is clearly a massive chase card. $350 for the booster box. It's kind of in that in-between. I like it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. So if it's around $350 right now, which it is, I think the box by the end of the year can be $450. That's my prediction. All right, next set, we've got a subset, Shrouded Fable. Maybe the worst subset of the era. It probably is. Could almost guarantee that. Yeah, I mean, what other one's worse? I can't think of one right now. Sets in general, maybe you say Obsidian or base set is worse. I think this is probably the worst set of the whole era, my opinion. There's really not any cards above $70, the Persian, so there's nothing near 100. The regular ETB which honestly, for 110, if you can buy the PC version for $40 more, that's a no-brainer. But as the rule stated from the beginning, we're only looking at normal ETBs, $110. Guys, if you weren't back in the hobby a few years ago, these were on flash sale, I remember, for $250 to $300 a case. 10 ETBs, 20. I remember seeing one LGS, $25 in ETB. You had to buy a case to get 10, so it's $250, but that equated to $25 in ETB. It's just insane. So, if you would have bought them back then, even the worst performing set of this era, in my opinion, over $100, and they're selling. So you would have 4x'd your money in, say, 2.5 years. You wouldn't do that at the stock market normally. So even on the worst item, you still did great. So my prediction for this, honestly, it's hovering around 110 to 120. I think the set will be at 160 by the end of the year. That's my prediction for this ETB. Moving on, next booster box set, mainline set, Stellar Crown, was fairly weak, but if you haven't woken up to the news, this Bulbasaur, this Squirtle, they are making a run, and probably what's flying under the radar the most, maybe it's not anymore, this Terapagos was at the start of the set high. It dropped really low. People just didn't like it that much. It was a $30 to $40 card, and in some cases I think it dipped below $30 for a while, and now it's 2.5x in like no time. So watch out for Terapagos. I don't know if I'd buy it now, seeing as it just spiked, but it's selling now for around 70 to $80. Crazy. Does that mean I think the set itself is great? No. But sitting at around 300, I think I have one of these. And to me, at this point, I'm just like, I'd rather buy a PC ETB for half the price. I think I've got a couple of those. But for $310 a booster box, I don't see this going very far by the end of the year. 350 is my prediction on this set, which is still a modest gain in most markets. But remember, this is a crazy market. This is Pokemon 2026. Surging Sparks. What's held this booster box and what's held this product back is they did put a lot of ETBs out there, and it seems like maybe one, if the only. So vending machines, it seemed like these were popping up the most. You would see every once in a while some mega base booster boxes. You're seeing every once in a while Perfect Order right now. You were seeing Phantasmal booster boxes on occasion. But the most common one, I know because when I'm vending at the shows, people are walking up with them, is Surging Sparks. Just wanting to make their quick flip. Hey, I just bought this from a vending machine. How much will you take for it? So I've had numerous occasions that happened to me. But despite that, that's kept the price down some. That's why it's only $260 right now. I think it's going to dry up in the next 6 months. It kind of already is. It has some big headliners. It's got 3 cards over $100. Milotic, Latias, Pikachu headlining it. Pikachu's running up a little bit. It's over 300. The booster box sitting at 260. I think this might surprise some people. So my prediction for this is $350 by the end of the year. That's a big leap. Big leap. But I think it's possible, and it is a great set. Pikachu, everyone loves the mascot. Everyone recognizes it. Even people who don't like the hobby know who Pikachu is. Now's the time to buy Surging Sparks, in my opinion. Maybe above any other set right now. Moving on. Prismatic Evolutions. You may love it. You may hate it. But I promise you, you're going to want to own it in 6 months, a year, 2 years, all of that. So we actually got to go to the second page to even find the regular ETB. It's got tons of cards. You probably all seen them. You know the Umbreon is up there. It's almost $1,500 raw right now. To my knowledge, that is the number one still most expensive card of the SV era. So keep that in mind. You can also get God packs. You can get demigod packs from this set. So the chase factor is absolutely top tier with this set. And right now, honestly, I don't think this will ever get any lower for the rest of its life cycle. It came out last February. It's really what, after Surging Sparks, set the flames to the hobby, and everyone went crazy. Scalpers went crazy. It just brought so much attention back to the hobby. So much so that if you don't remember, Pokemon put out an official statement, which they never do, by the way. They did with this set. They said we're going to print more of it to demand. They haven't been able to do that because the lowest the ETB has ever been on the open market is basically $100. So sitting at 160, it was much higher. It was over 200 a little bit ago, but it had a recent fairly large reprint. It's been showing up at Targets, Walmart's online, which I never get. The bots get all those, but it's been showing up on occasion at Best Buys. LGSs were getting cases of these. I don't know if it was a large amount, but it was enough to at least drop the price a little bit. And if you can find them around 150, 160, buy it, buy it, buy it. That might be the best thing to buy because I think by the end of this year, this little reprint is going to dry up. The focus is going to start being on the other sets now. It has to. Ascended, Destined Rivals. I don't think you're going to see too much more Prismatic anymore after this. So my prediction, fairly bold. I think by the end of the year, about another 6 months from now, it will be it's 160 right now. Do I think it's going to double? I think it can. I think it might get close to doubling. I'm going to say $300 by the end of the year. That's my prediction. All right, burning through these. Journey Together. I wish I'd bought some more of these when they were cheaper, but you could say that about every set, right? And for the most part, unenhanced, enhanced. Most boxes are the enhanced version. The only card shops that did pre-release events were really the only ones that got these non-enhanced versions. So they're a little bit more rare, but I'm just going to focus on the enhanced version. That's the main one you'll see most of the time. Sitting at around 260, 270, recent sales at 275. Wasn't really printed a lot, I don't believe, this booster box. I mean, they haven't really given us any booster box reprints. They've really shown that, right, over the last year and a half. And in case y'all didn't know that, that is the case. You're seeing restocks and reprints of other items, of ancillary boxes, of collection boxes, but where's the booster box reprints? They've been essentially non-existent except for maybe the occasional Surging Sparks in a vending machine or Mega Base in a vending machine. So, 275. This is kind of one of those like Twilight Masquerade to me. It's not super awesome. It's not bad. It's kind of in the middle. I'm going to say $350 by the end of the year. And that's maybe a fairly large jump, but I think it can do that. It did bring back the box topper, the partner Pokemon featuring their trainer and the Pokemon itself. So it brought a new gimmick back to the TCG that it hadn't had in a while. 350 is my prediction for this box. Moving on. This is largely considered the top tier of SV era. Now, is 151 better and prismatic? Yeah, I think so. I think most people would agree. But as far as mainline booster box sets, this is king, in my opinion. It's got an above $500 chase card in the Mewtwo. It's got Garchomp is was hovering around 200 for the longest time. It's close to 300 now. It's got several cards above $100. Ho-Oh, Nidoking, Moltres. The ETB's above $200. The booster bundle is above $75 now. What is the booster box doing? Wow, just insane things. It's above $1,000. Here's what's happening. Not above 1,000. It's above 600 now. And people were talking about it like when it got near 500, like that was crazy, which it was. But I just wish I would have bought more. I only bought like one or two of these, and that was already on the way up. And kind of against human nature because normally we think let a set release, buy it 6 months after release, it'll usually be lower. This set was actually lower on release than it had been all its life cycle. You could have got it for low 200s at release, and it just never looked back since. And here's my prediction, which is based largely on it seems like Pokemon doesn't want to reprint booster boxes, or I really think it's that they can't keep up with all the demand, so they're trying to print lower, smaller items, more bundles, more ETBs, more sleeve packs to get more packs on the market rather than booster boxes, which take up 36 packs just in one item. That's the densest item you can buy, so I think they're just making less of them, or at least less reprints, because they want to get more packs out on the market. So smaller quantity items is how they're doing that. So with that all being said, $640 right now. My bold prediction is I think this booster box could get near $1,000 by the end of the year. That's insane to say. Insane to say. Seeing as how it's already made massive runs from 200 up to 600, which normally in a normal market years ago, it would take years for a set to do this. It's done it. Destined Rivals has done it in a year and a half. So my bold prediction is that this set by the end of the year will be, if not at, it will be very close to $1,000. Four-digit price on Destined Rivals. It's going to get there eventually. It may not be by December, by Christmas time, but I think it could. That's my prediction. Maybe I'll be a dummy in 6 months, or maybe I'll look like a genius. We'll find out. Moving on, we've got the last one or two, and they are both specialty sets. Black Bolt, White Flare. Now, for a while, Black Bolt and White Flare ETBs were fairly cheap. They were under $100. If you look at what they've done in the last few months, they have really spiked. Last 3 months alone, it's gone from 90 to 140. Insane gain. So my prediction by the end of the year is with this box, you're looking at it like, do they have enough printing capacity to keep? Are they going to make more of this? I don't know. To me, I think Black Bolt White Flare might get left by the wayside because they kind of have to print both, right? Because they were both released at once. So it's like they're printing two sets at once. And should they prioritize this or its White Flare counterpart over what are deemed to be more important high price sets like Destined Rivals, like Mega Base is getting out of control now, Phantasmal's getting out of control, Ascended Heroes has been out of control from the beginning. They have to focus on that. Are they going to go back and do more prismatic? Because they have up to this point. It's all these other sets getting so much attention. Destined Rivals, Prismatic, Ascended being probably the top three. But even now, to some extent, Phantasmal and Mega Base, like I just said. So it leads me to believe if they print more of these, I don't think it's going to be in large quantities. So I could see this just continuing to run up. It's got some really awesome illustration rares. I know it's a Gen 5 set. That's not my biggest cup of tea either. I wasn't really around in the hobby for Gen 5, so it doesn't resonate with me. But nonetheless, the chart doesn't lie. I mean, selling for around $150. I think there was some sales that have already passed, but there were some sales around 160 last week. So insane what this is doing. My prediction, it's going to keep going up because they won't put much attention to this on the printers if it gets reprinted at all. It will be above 200. My prediction by the end of the year, it's at 140 now. I'm going to say it's at 225 by the end of the year. White Flare, to a lesser extent, is probably going to be the same prediction. It's got a little bit less on the pricey cards as far as the set goes, but sitting at 130, 6-month chart. A few months ago, it was at around $80. Now it's risen to about 130. Similar gains as the Black Bolt, but 130. My prediction for this end of the year is 200 bucks. Am I going to look like a genius or an idiot? Time will only tell. I'll see y'all back in 6 months. I'd like to revisit it, maybe do a reaction video. Drop the comments down below. I'd appreciate it. Really helps the algorithm. Appreciate you watching, tuning in. Let me know what you think. Was I totally off base? Do you think I'm spot on? Or honestly, probably it's hard to predict, right? So none of us really know. But we'll come back in 6 months, see what we look like. Have a good evening. See you on the next one. Peace.